There's a kind of prison that doesn't need bars, locks, or guards. A prison that's built inside the mind. One that's so invisible most people never even notice it. But this prison controls everything. Our choices, our ambitions, even how much we believe we're capable of. It's the prison built without walls. And many of us are trapped inside it every day. This prison is made of invisible forces, learned helplessness, societal conditioning, inherited beliefs. Forces that quietly tell us what we can and can't do, what we're allowed to want, what's possible and impossible for us. Today, we're going to explore how this prison is built, how it holds us in place, and most importantly, how to start breaking free. Let's begin with learned helplessness. In the 1960s, psychologist Martin Seligman ran a famous experiment. He placed dogs in cages with an electrified floor. At first, the dogs tried to escape the shocks, but over time, after repeated failures, they stopped trying altogether, even when the doors were left open and they could have walked out freely. What happened to those dogs is a powerful metaphor for what happens to many of us. When we experience failure, rejection, or powerlessness again and again, we start to believe that no effort will change our situation. We stop trying. We stay in jobs we hate because we think there's no better option. We stay in unhealthy relationships because we believe we can't find love elsewhere. We stop reaching for goals because we're convinced we'll never make it. It's not that escape is impossible. It's that we've been taught through experience, through repetition, that there's no point in trying. And that belief keeps us inside an invisible cage. The tragedy is that even when conditions change, even when opportunities appear, we still act like we're trapped. Just like the dogs who didn't walk out of the open cage, we hold ourselves back. This is the first wall of the invisible prison, a learned belief in our own powerlessness. The second wall is societal conditioning. From the moment we're born, society starts shaping us, telling us what's normal, what's desirable, what's acceptable. We're taught how to behave, what roles to play, what dreams are realistic, and which ones are foolish. If you're born in a working class family, you might be told not to aim too high because people like us don't do things like that. If you're raised as a girl in a patriarchal culture, you might be told to stay quiet, stay small, stay pleasing. If you grow up in a rigid religious environment, you might be warned against questioning authority or thinking differently. These lessons don't just come from parents. They come from schools, media, religious institutions, friends, even the stories we see on TV and in movies. Slowly, without realizing, we internalize these messages. We adopt them as our own beliefs, and they shape our choices, often without our awareness. We think we're making free decisions. But many of those decisions are simply following invisible scripts we've been handed since childhood. Societal conditioning tells us what success looks like, what failure looks like, what's worthy of respect and what isn't. It tells us which careers are respectable, which relationships are normal, which desires are acceptable. And every time we stray outside those invisible lines, we feel shame, fear, discomfort, pressure to step back into place. This conditioning builds the second wall of the prison, the belief that we must conform, obey, stay within the roles assigned to us. When learned helplessness and societal conditioning work together, the invisible prison becomes almost impossible to see. Imagine a person who's been told their whole life that they aren't smart enough, or talented enough, or worthy enough. They've tried and failed a few times, so they stop trying. And on top of that, society constantly reinforces the message, stay in your lane. This is how people end up living small lives, even when they have the potential for so much more. There's a well-known story about how elephants in captivity are trained. When they're young, they're tied to a small rope they can't break. They struggle at first, but eventually they stop trying. As adults, even though they're strong enough to snap that rope easily, they never attempt to escape, because they've learned they can't. That's what the invisible cage looks like. There are no walls, no guards, no physical barriers, but still, we stay. Because we've accepted the limits as real. This is the deepest part of the prison, when we no longer question the cage. When we start to police ourselves, cutting off our own possibilities before anyone else needs to. So how do we break out of a prison that's invisible? The first step is awareness. You can't break a wall you don't know exists. Start by questioning the beliefs you've inherited. Who told me I couldn't do this? Where did I learn this fear? Is this really my belief? Or something I was taught? When we start asking these questions, cracks appear in the walls. The second step is exposure to different perspectives. The more you see people breaking roles, defying expectations, living outside the normal, the more you realize other paths are possible. Books, conversations, therapy, travel, They all help widen the view. The third step is action, even small action. Every time you act against a limiting belief, you weaken it. Every step outside the cage teaches your mind, I can move beyond this. It won't be comfortable. The prison is familiar. Leaving it means uncertainty, discomfort, even rejection. But it also means freedom, because the truth is, the prison was never real. The bars were built from ideas, not iron. And the key was never outside you. It was always in your hands. The most powerful cages are the ones we can't see. And the hardest prisons to escape are the ones we don't realize we're in. But every moment of awareness, every act of questioning, every choice to step beyond what we were taught, that's a crack in the wall. Ask yourself, what invisible walls surround me? What dreams have I abandoned because I thought they weren't possible? Thanks for watching.